Hello, I'm Janet Morena, Executive Director of Priests for Life. Welcome to our program. Well, 26 days to go and counting, and we are so energized here at Priests for Life. We're just getting our election materials out, so much to do. And I'd like to take your questions. I'm sure many of you saw the debate last night, and I have a lot to say. Trust me, a lot to say. But before we get to questions, I'd just like to cover a topic that didn't come up last night, and I was hoping it would. I was praying it would. Kamala Harris there, she has direct ties to Planned Parenthood. As you know, first of all, she's a cheerleader for Planned Parenthood because she's part of the Democratic Party. It's not an abortion they don't like. They believe in abortion should be through all 9 months of pregnancy up till birth. No apologies for that one. But there was most of you have heard of David Daleiden and the whole case of him doing the behind the scenes investigation of Planned Parenthood, selling the baby body parts, et cetera, et cetera. Well, Kamala Harris was the DA, at the time that they started prosecuting David Daleiden for his investigative reporting. And she ordered his apartment raided and all these terrible things to happen to him. And then guess what? Planned Parenthood was funding her election to the U.S. Senate also. And we have this clip I'm going to play for you. It's been out there in the media before, but I just want you to take a look of how bad her ties are to Planned Parenthood. So let's take a look at this clip of Kamala Harris.
What we have all known and Planned Parenthood for certain has known is that we can never take for granted that any of the gains that we have achieved will be permanent.
We cannot go backwards, and we cannot tolerate a perspective that is about going backward.
I'm David Daleiden, and I'm the founder and project lead with the Center for Medical Progress. 5 years ago, my undercover videos caught Planned Parenthood's top leadership trafficking and selling the body parts of aborted infants. America's biggest abortion business was desperate and furious, so they turned to their political patron, then California Attorney General Kamala Harris, for help.
She's standing beside us strong.
At Planned Parenthood's special request, Kamala Harris targeted me to punish and silence my message about the abortion industry and fetal trafficking. I'm not the first person to ever record undercover video in California. Local news reporters routinely record and publish undercover video exposing factory farming, corrupt medical practices, and unlicensed marijuana vendors. Yet somehow I have become the first person to ever have the California video recording law enforced against me for news gathering.
We will celebrate the fact that we know how to fight. We will celebrate the fact that we are prepared to fight.
Kamala Harris met in secret with a group of California Planned Parenthood executives in Los Angeles in March 2016, while she was running for U.S. Senate and promoting Planned Parenthood in her campaign. Action items from the meeting show that they discussed Planned Parenthood's legislative agenda in California, as well as Planned Parenthood's lies that my videos contained threats, with 2 of the Planned Parenthood witnesses in Kamala Harris's investigation present at the political meeting. Less than 2 weeks later, Kamala Harris sent 11 California DOJ agents to raid my 1-bedroom apartment, with explicit instructions from Planned Parenthood to seize the computer and video equipment that I was using to publish the undercover videos. California Penal Code 632 prohibits secretly recording a confidential communication without the consent of all parties, and defines confidential as a communication that you cannot reasonably expect will be overheard by other people. So my team was scrupulous to record our California videos in places of public accommodation like crowded restaurants, where the conversations were obviously overheard. But you can't necessarily say the same thing about local TV reporters in California, who have taped inside of private doctors' offices and inside of private homes. Yet not a single one of them has ever been charged with undercover video recording in California in the 60-year history of California's video recording law. Mine is the first and only case. And there's another piece to the California video recording law. that specifically allows recording even a confidential conversation in order to gather evidence relating to violent crimes. The entire purpose of our video recording in California was to document and expose the violent crimes of fetal trafficking, including selling infants aborted alive and killing them through organ harvesting and medical battery against pregnant women. If those aren't crimes of violence, I don't know what is. But Kamala Harris's investigation never even considered our purpose or addressed those crimes, even though local Southern California law enforcement prosecuted and shut down 2 of Planned Parenthood's business partners based on my video recordings. By the way, those business partners, the Da Vinci companies, they actually admitted guilt in a $7.8 million settlement for illegally selling body parts from abortions at Planned Parenthood Orange County. Who was the top abortion doctor for Planned Parenthood Orange County supplying those body parts? Dr. Jennifer Russo, one of the participants in the March 2016 meeting with Kamala Harris and one of the Planned Parenthood witnesses. You have to wonder, if I had been investigating unsafe grocery handling practices, animal abuse, or unlicensed gun sales, would Kamala Harris have ever thought to pursue video recording charges against me? It's pretty obvious that the reason that I alone was targeted by Kamala Harris is because I dared to criticize Planned Parenthood and the abortion industry. What Kamala Harris did isn't treating people fairly or equally under the video recording law. In fact, Kamala Harris's deputy prosecutor, Jeanette Jarone, admitted in a court filing that the reason her office targeted me alone among all undercover reporters in California was because my videos were, quote, edited for shock value, and that made me, quote, more culpable than other undercover reporters in California. Obviously, I dispute the characterization that my videos were edited for shock value. What they show Planned Parenthood doing is shocking enough. But more importantly, it is your First Amendment right to promote the significance of your own message. When she said that I was targeted because of the content of my videos, Kamala Harris's deputy prosecutor admitted that the reason that I was targeted and I alone was to punish what I have to say. Planned Parenthood sells baby parts. That's why I'm suing Kamala Harris, the California Attorney General, Planned Parenthood, and others in Los Angeles federal court for conspiracy to violate First Amendment civil rights. This is crucial to defend the First Amendment rights of all Americans to report on issues that matter and to listen to what we have to say to each other without fear of government punishment. Selling body parts is a crime. Reporting on it is not. I will never bow to the tyrannical vision of leaders like Kamala Harris, who believe that they are entitled to tell us what to think, what to believe, and what to say.
It out right now. For some people who are still saying, oh, I don't know who to vote for, or oh, you know, Biden and Kamala Harris, oh, they might be good, new, fresh ideas. No, this is the ideas, okay? Kamala Harris, first of all, did something totally unethical because you heard what he said. She was running for the United States Senate seat and Planned Parenthood was funding her campaign while at the same time she was persecuting and prosecuting David Daleiden. This is a conflict of interest. This is ridiculous. And this has to be exposed. I mean, if this video didn't shock you or show you how in bed with Planned Parenthood she is, I don't know what else to say. And think about this. She's just a heartbeat away. God forbid she and Biden get elected. She's a heartbeat away from the presidency. Oh, right now, you know, Nancy Pelosi put out something today. Oh, I want to invoke the 25th Amendment that I think President Trump should have to step down because he has the coronavirus. Is she crazy? He looks perfectly fine and healthy. Listen, with the coronavirus, if you get the drugs or even without the drugs, at a certain point, you turn a corner, you're feeling better, and you move on. The president is, you know, the 25th Amendment is for when the president of the United States can no longer do his duties, okay? I mean, that's not the case here. He's perfectly capable. Matter of fact, while he was in Walter Reed, he was working from the suite up there, which is meant for a president to use if they have to be in the hospital. You could see from the moment he was elected, and even before, they never accepted the election. That's one of the things Vice President Pence said last night. You people have been talking about not accepting the change of authority of power, like they think, oh, President Trump's not going to relinquish to Biden and Harris. They never relinquished the president to Trump since Obama. Why? From the minute the man was elected, they were claiming foul, no good, fighting a tooth and nail. I mean, impeachment, and the Russia probe, and this and that. I mean, it hasn't stopped. And the media, disgusting. You know, he's the president of the United States of America. And where's the respect due him for that oath of office that he took? Not for nothing, but I couldn't stand President Clinton. I had to suffer through 8 years of him. And you know, I had to go to certain events, and Clinton came. I didn't sit there with my hands folded, my arms folded in my seat and refuse to stand, like people refuse to kneel for the flag, you know. No, I stood. I just wouldn't overly applaud him. But when they said the President of the United States, and I was at the event, and Clinton was coming in, I stood out of respect for the office of the President of the United States. That is something that the Democratic Party and the media have not given our president in the past 4 years that he's been president. So, going back now to Nancy Pelosi, she's trying to invoke the 25th Amendment now, like out of the blue. You know why? She wants to get the news cycle off of the debate last night. Because Vice President Pence, didn't he do a great job? I just wish this whole horrific part about Planned Parenthood had come out just a little bit more to show how unethical she really is. And this is the person you want to have as your vice president? Oh my goodness gracious. So I'm counting on you, our Facebook audience. Get the word out about Kamala Harris, how bad she is. Now let's see, do we have any questions? I'll probably have to put on my glasses or I can't read the questions, sorry. Janet's eyesight is not good. Okay, let's see, this is Ginny King. Who can this information be put out there so that voters can hear this now? Well, we have our it's on YouTube. I think first of all, if you Google Kamala Harris, David Daleiden, you'll find this on YouTube. That's where I pulled this down from. This was from YouTube. So you can get this and share it out there and make people aware. But even if you didn't even show this video, it's very clear. She and Biden and the Democrat Party have made it very obvious that they're in favor of all abortions up till birth. You heard when Pence said that to her last night. She didn't go, oh, no, not me. Oh, no, no. No, she sat there quiet because she knows that's their policy. There's not an abortion they don't like, 100%. All abortions they're in favor of. So we have to get the word out because of just the stark difference. And one more thing, about this election. I know some people say, well, I don't like President Trump's tweets and I don't like this, I don't care for that, whatever. First of all, you're not electing his personality. You're re-electing the policies that he has done and what he will do. Like, for instance, I have this nice button on for Trump here. You see this Trump button? You know what it says? Promises made, promises kept. And you can go to a simple web page, promiseskept.com, and you can read all the things that President Trump has done and kept his promises. I mean, I can't remember when there has ever been a candidate for presidency that in his, during his whole primary election, everything, the things he promised, if I'm president, I'll do this. If I'm president, I'll do that. Oh my goodness, the list goes on and on and on of all the great things he's done. And let's not forget judges. He's already appointed 230 judges at the federal level, and he said he's not going to leave any seat undone before he's out of office, before the time's up for this session. So, I mean, that's going to last decades into the future. That will benefit my children, my grandchildren. That's amazing. 2 Supreme Court justices, and now we're going to have Amy Coney Barrett, and you better get ready, brothers and sisters, for next week. We've got to really storm Facebook with good messaging because they better not smear good Amy there. She's a stellar candidate. stellar. And her Catholic religion should not come into it. That's ridiculous. So we're going to have to be on guard to get the truth out. Let's see if we have another question. Let's see. Karen Johnson, she says, I like that. Promises have been kept. Exactly, Karen, exactly. And let's see. This is, someone says, vote early in person. Yes, good point. That's Marlene. Yeah, Marlene, I'm glad you brought that up. You know, this election cycle is going to be absolutely insane. Some states like New Jersey, their polls aren't even going to be opened. They have mailed out ballots to the entire state. And I have a good friend of mine. I just spoke to her the other night, and she got her mail-in ballot. She filled it out, but she didn't put it in the mail. They have places you can go to deliver your ballot. And she got to sign the book, okay, where her name was on the line at the Board of Elections in her town. And then she handed in her ballot, and she watched it go into this locked box, basically, at the Board of Elections. That's what we need to do. You have to track your ballot, and just don't put it in the mail. I normally vote absentee because normally I'm out on the road traveling at the election, but I got my absentee ballot at home. Just came the other day. I'm going to fill it out, and when early voting starts here in Florida, I am going to deliver it. Our office here is in Titusville. I'm going to go down to the Board of Elections, and I'm going to hand deliver my ballot. So that's very important. Thank you, Marlene, for bringing that up. We've got to track our ballot. We have to make sure we bring our ballots there. And speaking of that, I've always promoted this to get absentee ballots for family members that you know who might be in assisted living or in nursing homes. Please don't let the staff at that nursing home help them fill out their ballot. You help them fill it out, and then you deliver it for them, because there's a lot of shenanigans that goes on at that level. Let's see what Lori has to say here. Harris said she wants to allow women to be in control of their bodies. I got news for you. If you're pregnant, that baby is whole and separate from your body. It's its own person, body, soul, and spirit. You shouldn't decide whether that other body you carry dies. You aren't God. God decides. Thanks, Laura. Good point. And you know, another point about last night, did you hear how I kept harping at Vice President Pence about, you don't accept the science. You don't accept the science. She said, you don't accept the science one more time. I was yelling at my TV. Oh, good thing you weren't watching me last night. I was going crazy in my house all by myself, yelling at the flat screen TV. Even my dogs got on my lap one time as if to say, Mommy, it's okay, it's okay. Anyway, the science thing, well, hello, unborn children, okay, it's science. From the moment of conception, it's a unique, whole, individual person with all that little DNA and everything. Yes, Kamala, that's science. So you're killing a person, okay? It's a person. It's not a clump of cells. It's a person. And that's the science that you're in favor of there, of killing an unborn child. So I think we have to use this science argument right back with her and Biden. Okay, what's this? Eileen Queen, she says, when they introduced Kamala Harris last night, she was introduced as an American Indian. At the end of the debate, she herself said she is black. What is it? Oh, okay, well, first of all, she's not an American Indian. She's half Jamaican, from the island of Jamaica, and one of her other parents is Indian, like from India. Okay, not American India, from India. That's her genealogy, okay? So she's Jamaican and Indian. That's her lineage, all right? So anyway, okay, another thing says, yes, amen to that. Okay, thanks, Laura. Okay, I was screaming also. She was so smug and disrespectful. Absolutely. Smug and disrespectful, and the smirking. Oh my goodness, smirking. And the way she talked back, like at Vice President Pence, he was a real gentleman. He was, and you know, I've known Vice President Pence since he was in Congress. And I can tell you, he's a man of deep faith. And I also, we're going to play a little clip at the end of our time together from him, because of course he was unabashedly, I'm pro-life, and that's it, and that's how it rolls. So it said, oh yes, yeah, Lori says, yes, rude as can be. Yep, rude as can be. That's how she was, very rude. You know, and you have to think about this. I mean, this is who you want as your vice president of the United States of America? You know, there's so much. Oh, and then the other thing that made me flip, I want to know how many of you made you flip, when she said that, oh, this will be historic, the second time a Catholic has become a practicing Catholic, has become president. Of course, she was referring to JFK, and now Biden, a practicing Catholic. Oh, I guess she thinks if you show up in a Catholic church every now and then and you are baptized Catholic, that makes you a practicing Catholic. Let me tell you, sweetie, a practicing Catholic maybe should add the words a faithful Catholic, a Catholic who actually believes the teachings of the Catholic Church, which he doesn't. Okay, neither does Nancy Pelosi. Why? They believe in abortion. Guess what? That's a non-negotiable, okay? Thou shalt not kill. Hello. Part of the commandments, no change. And to say practicing Catholic, oh, I mean, how many, look, we all have people in our families who don't go to church every Sunday. Everyone does, right? Raise our hands, of course. And we pray for them and we encourage them to go to church. But he is what's called a cafeteria Catholics, right? Because we have the teachings of the church, okay? And he puts them in different columns. And he says, well, I accept that one, but oh, not this one. I'll agree with that one, oh, but not that one. That's a cafeteria Catholic. That's what Joe Biden is. That's what Nancy Pelosi is. And I pray for them. I pray for their conversion. And, you know, there's always hope. I mean, if Dr. Bernard Nathanson and Norma McCorvey could convert, okay? I mean, Norma at one time was a non-believer and a lesbian and all this other jazz. And Dr. Nathanson was originally Jewish, became an atheist. Both of them became Catholic. So, and practicing fervent, believing Catholics. So we have to pray for these people because anything is possible. You know, God can produce miracles, right? I mean, if Dr. Bernard Nathanson, who was responsible for over 70,000 abortions, architected the abortion industry and aborted his own son, can come back to believing in God and become baptized as a Catholic. By the way, he was baptized by Cardinal O'Connor, the same cardinal that also ordained Father Pavone to the priesthood. But miracles can happen. But in the meantime, let's say a spade a spade. Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi are not faithful Catholics. They do not believe in the teachings of the church, and they do not practice them. We could talk about this a lot more. There's so much to talk about. We'll have to cover this again next week, but I think I have another question here. Harris has the same attitude my 17-year-old has, snarky and smug. Yeah, snarky and smug, and you would think someone who's running for the second highest office in the land would have a little more decorum than being snarky and snug like that. I mean, like, just her body language was all about, like, it's all me, it's all me. Like, if she kept moving around and switching around and doing all this stuff, I was like, do you know how to sit still? Sit still and not roll your eyes and smirk? It says, Kamala was a horrible actor last night and she spoke lies that were easy fact-checked. That's right. And that was Effie Young. Thanks, Effie. That's right. Listen, brothers and sisters, on our Facebook channels, we rebroadcast the debate. We're going to rebroadcast it again. Just sit there and take your notes. And then, like they're saying, fact-checked it. I mean, the number of Pinocchio noses she got last night was just incredible. But one point, it started out at the very beginning. I loved when she said, first of all, she referred to Vice President Biden all night as Joe, like they were best friends. Oh, Joe this and Joe that. Just go back and see what she said about Biden when they were campaigning against each other for this slot, you know, to run for president on the Democratic ticket. But I mean, one of the things when they first started out, they talked about coronavirus, right? And of course, right away she said, well, Joe's and my plan. And she names, you know, vaccines, and she goes down her little mantra. And then Vice President Pence said, well, that's plagiarism because that's the plan that President Trump and I have been doing since the pandemic began. You know, so, I mean, it's really, really, really amazing how so what we've got to do is, brothers and sisters, you might have first of all, you got to deal with all the people you know who are like-minded and get it. And they want to vote for Trump. You got to help them, get their ballots out there, deliver them, and vote early if your state has early voting, or if they got mail-in ballots and absentee and they could deliver them. Bring them, help them, bring that ballot directly to the Board of Elections. Don't put them in the mail. And then Maybe you know some friends and family members who are a little disgusted. Oh, I don't want to vote. I'm so tired of all this. No, you got to work on those folks. Our nation is at a crossroads, okay? Are we going to have the United States of America, the kind of America that my father fought in World War II for, and your probably parents and grandparents did the same? The kind of America that, this is the founding fathers. I mean, I get teared up when I'm at an event and they play God Bless America. I can barely sing the whole song. My eyes well up with tears. I'm so grateful to live in this country. And I don't want it to become a socialist country, and neither do you. That is what's at stake. And like I said before, this is not about personalities, of how much you like President Trump or don't like him. Look at the wonderful policies he's put in place. Remember, promises kept. That's where you want to go to that website. And also, too, here at Priest for Life, I want to encourage you to go to our special election website, prolifevote.com. Again, prolifevote.com. And we have so much information up there. But one of the things we have, and this might be help you make a deal breaker with some people, we have a comparison guide right here. I'm going to show it to you. This is a comparison guide for the Republican and Democrat parties. And we compare these 6 issues: human life, Planned Parenthood, judges, education, school choice, sex education, and foreign assistance. And so what we did was we took a little phrase from the party platform, right directly from their brand new party platforms that they approved this summer at their conventions. We even have the page number that the quote came from. So it's right from their party platform, and it shows you what a stark difference there is from the Republican and Democrat Party. It's like the Republican, it's the light, and the Democrat is darkness and socialism. And then the other side is in Espanol, Spanish. We'll send this to you absolutely free of charge. Just go to our online store, prolifeproducts.org, click on our election materials, and order this comparison guide. We'll send you as many copies as you want. If they'll give it out at your church, fine. But if your church won't, you give it out. You do it. Going down to see your kids play soccer, bring them to the soccer field. You know what I'd tell everyone? Get out your Christmas card list and get a bunch of plain envelopes at the dollar store and mail them to all your like-minded friends and say to them, this is what's at stake at the election. It's the light or the dark. Which way we going? Every vote is going to count, and we've got to make sure we get out and vote. So let's see. Oh, and I got another question here. James, okay, he says, how can any Christian vote for a Democrat, even a practicing one? A Democrat, even a practicing one, LOL. Of course, James. Of course. So, well, we're just about the end of our time, and I want to thank you for tuning in to me. Of course, tomorrow at the same time slot on Just Ask Janet, because what I'm going to do now is, as we're getting into this election cycle, I'm going to have guests every day. That's Monday, Tuesday. Of course, Alvita comes to you at this time on Wednesday. She's going to be coming to you live. And then I'm back on Thursday and Friday. And I'm going to have different guests with me here discussing all these hot topics of the election. So if you have a topic, when we're getting ready to start, you can start sending in your questions ahead of time. And we will cover your questions. And tomorrow, guess who my guest is going to be? None other than Father Frank Pavone. Okay, I'm going to grab him from his office and get him here into the studio, and you can ask Janet and Father Frank, and I'm telling you, the two of us will have plenty to say tomorrow. So I hope to hear from you. And you know what? Another highlight from last night was how pro-life our president and vice president are. Let me just play a real quick soundbite for you in closing.
I couldn't be more proud to serve as vice president to a president who stands without apology for the sanctity of human life. I'm pro-life. I don't apologize for it. And this is another one of those cases where there's such a dramatic contrast. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris support taxpayer funding of abortion all the way up to the moment of birth. Late-term abortion. They want to increase funding to Planned Parenthood.
Did you notice her little face going with her stuff? I mean, come on. But thank God we have a president and vice president that are unapologetic for being so pro-life. So keep them in prayer. And, oh, they want to know what time is Father Frank on is this next question. Okay, first of all, Father Frank is on the following times. Every day, 10 a.m., he does the Mass here on this channel. Every afternoon now, I come to you at 3:30, and I told you my schedule, like tomorrow I'm having Father Frank as my guest, but then every night at 9 p.m., from 9 to 10 p.m., Father is live here, and he covers different topics. Even some nights he does pro-life in Scripture. They're great presentations. So if you want to get Father Frank, more of Father Frank, every night at 9 o'clock. And there's certain nights where he does what I do, and he takes your questions and things like that. So, and then tomorrow, Father Frank and I will answer your questions too. So store up those questions and come back again tomorrow at 3:30. And we'll be looking forward. Oh, and tonight is Pro-Life in Scripture at 9 o'clock. So tune in tonight. If you want Pro-Life in Scripture with Father Frank, that is tonight. It says, can we get an image of that flyer? Yes. Go to voteprolife.com. That's our website, and there's an image there. And then to order it, you go to prolifeproducts.org. Okay? Well, thank you for joining me today. And until next time, this is Janet Morana with Just Ask Janet. Thanks and God bless.